Hi guys, so I am currently having a giveaway. For any purchase of my butters, you get this amazing lip balm, propolis lip balm, the one that you can see my baby applying. It's an amazing blend of natural oils, butters and honey and propolis as well, so it's very good for your lips, especially if you are struggling from dryness that either comes from infections, poor nutrition, too much dehydration and such. This lip balm is just a game changer. Anyway, while at it, we are going to make this beautiful girl's hair, my lovely 4-year-old, and then we are going to talk about hair damage, like the two different types of hair damage. As you can see, I am just applying the lip balm, getting my water, because our sessions are very interactive. We talk a lot, we even play in the middle of it so that she doesn't have a negative outlook towards styling. I try as much as I can to make sure that she enjoys it. And back to our topic of the day, types of hair damage that actually cause hair loss. Have you experienced or actually met someone who has experienced hair loss that is irreversible? Like they have tried everything and the only thing that they can actually do is a hair transplant. We're going to differentiate what causes that. We're also going to talk about the temporary hair damage and how to reverse it before it becomes permanent, and also going to talk about the strategies that you need to start doing right now to avoid the permanent hair loss. So I have mentioned two types of hair loss. There's the temporary and there's also the permanent hair loss, and I'm going to break them deeper into like the strands damage and the follicle damage. And as you can see from the video, my baby girl was explaining to me what she wants to be done. So from her explanations, I actually got that she wanted to have half braids, and because I did not want to do braids, I decided to do lines up and lines down halfway. I think you will see the look that comes out. It came out really nice, so make sure that you stick around until the end to see the outcome. So this was me just partitioning the hairs, making sure that I get the partitions right so that it comes out really clear. And she stayed with these braids for like more than a month. The first month of the holiday, she had it all through. And the main reason that I decided to talk about hair loss is because I'm usually very keen when making my baby or anyone's hair, because I try as much as I can to avoid follicle damage, because I understand how bad it can actually get. Unfortunately, most stylists or most people do not understand the need to protect their follicles. Even parents or even ourselves, when you're going to the salon, we want to just have the salonist or the stylist grip as many hair as tightly as they can, and that is going to cause you follicle damage. So let's dive deeper and explore what these damages are, their causes, and how you can prevent or reverse them to maintain strong, healthy hair. The first type of damage is basically the strand, the hair strand damage, that refers to harm caused to the visible part of your hair, the hair shaft. This damage weakens the hair structure, making it prone to breakages, dryness, and split ends. The common causes of strand damage include: number one, the heat styling tools. So the next time that you're going to the salon and the stylist actually blow dries your hair until it starts smoking, like literally smoking, like it's burning, that stylist is actually ruining your strands. Frequent use of flat irons or blow dryers will definitely lead to strand damage even with heat protection. Of course, it is best that you use the heat protectant while you're doing your blow dries or your flat irons, but you're not supposed to repeat them too often and too soon. Give your strands some time to breathe. The second thing that has actually been associated with strand damage is basically the excessive use of chemicals or treatments. Something that most of us Africans are guilty of because we want it easy. We don't want to even style our own natural hair. We have been lied to that our hair is not as beautiful as we think, so we want to look as much as we can as the white woman, which needs to change, because our curls and kink is exactly what makes our hair beautiful. Let's embrace that and teach the same to our babies, because we have agreed that over here we are going to create a community of confident women of African origin who are confident to wear their skin, to be comfortable in their hairs, and we want to transfer the same to our kids. Another thing that has actually been associated with strand damage is basically environmental factors. This we cannot control so much. Things like prolonged exposure to UV rays. You can still have like a scarf on your head when it's too hot, especially if you're in regions like Kenya where it gets really sunny. But again, how are you going to control the pollution that comes from the harsh weather conditions, like the toxin in the environment and such? It's just a hard time. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in the hacks on how to prevent the strand damage later. So another thing that has been associated with strand damage, and most of us are actually aware, they just want to ignore and assume that Mumina is just making noise, is basically the harsh or the improper styling or handling of your hairs. Anytime you go to a stylist and they are not prioritizing detangling, they're just aggressively brushing your hair to just rush through the blow dry without even taking care of your coils, your curl patterns. And then after that, now they go in with the blow dries and then the tight hairstyles and using other tools that are going to tag your hair. You're definitely going to experience strand loss. So you need to be very cautious with such stylists and be very keen and be very confident when you're telling your stylist or your salonist what you actually expect from them, because I told you sometimes these people do not even understand that they are actually causing you damage or hair loss. So if you don't speak up, you're going to end up with strand damage, and sadly you might also experience follicle damage from the tight pulling and such. So how can you prevent or reverse the strand damage? The first thing is definitely prioritizing styling techniques that actually protect your hair. Talk to your stylist, talk to your salonist about the importance of detangling, the importance of protecting your hair when they are styling it, the importance of avoiding tight styling. It is very necessary. It is actually a very underlooked aspect of hair loss, and it is causing a lot of damage to most women. And again, you can also talk to them about the importance of using heat protectant when you're doing blow dries or even using a flat iron. But remember to actually space your frequencies of those tools. Try as much as you can to avoid the overheating or the use of such tools every now and then. Another thing that is very effective in actually preventing and reversing strand damage is basically using moisturizing products like our Chebe hair butter. This is because Chebe is a perfect blend of natural herbs that actually nourish, they protect and they moisturize your hair, promoting things like water retention or moisture retention, and they are going to give your hair the strength it needs. So you're not going to have a lot of splits and you're not going to experience weak or breaking hair, and you're definitely going to have a healthier strand. So over here I was just slowing down so that you can see how I grip. I try as much as I can to balance between neat and protective, because I don't want my baby or anyone that I'm making hairs to experience hair loss. That is my goal of styling. I want it to be neat, cute and well balanced. And to add to nourishing, protecting and moisturizing, Chebe is a great detangler. Like if you're struggling with a very thick, very coarse hair, you need to include Chebe in your routine. And it's very simple to actually include Chebe butter into your hair care routine. This is how you're going to do it. So you clarify or wash using our organic, paraben-free, sulfate-free shampoo that actually cleanses and make sure that your scalp is free from any dirt, product buildup, and making sure that your hair is clean so that you don't lock in that and such. And then you go in with the conditioner. You do not skip conditioning if you're trying to reverse scalp or any type of damage or even strand damage. Do not try and skip conditioner, because conditioning actually makes your hair strands more available to actually take in the products that you're going to actually put on your hair, and that is basically the Chebe butter. So you condition with our moisturizing honey conditioner that actually locks in more moisture, because as we all understand, honey is a humectant. This means that it is going to lock in moisture in your strands, and when you add in the Chebe butter, you're definitely going to have better results. So after the conditioning, when your hair is not so dry, it's just a bit damp, that is when you're going to go in with your Chebe butter. You just generously apply on your strands and then you comb through easily and gently using a wide comb. I've done a video on detangling using Chebe butter. I'll definitely link it in the description box so that you can have a look after this, so that you can see how to actually incorporate Chebe hair butter into your wash day and actually see that what I usually say, that it makes African hair really manageable, is actually the truth. And if you have used Chebe hair butter or have come across someone who has used it, kindly let me know in the comment section their experience or your experience, and we'll talk more about that. And of course, another thing that you're going to do to prevent the strand damage is actually cut off your split end. So I have dealt with a lot of clients who are transitioning from relaxers to natural hair, and as we all understand, chemical relaxers is one of the causes of strand damage. So you're going to have a lot of split end, and most of my clients are usually very reluctant to cutting their hair. They're like, no, I don't want my hair gone, it has retained so much length, because Chebe butter helps with length retaining and volume. So this person thinks that chemicalized hair is going to actually transition to healthy. No, you need to cut it. You need to cut it, because if you don't cut it, it actually means that it can actually transfer the damage to the healthier part of the strands. So as you transition slowly from the damaged hair to a healthier hair, be very keen and be very okay with cutting the strands, and I promise you, your hair will thrive like nobody's business. And of course, you need to protect your hair from the harsh environmental conditions. As I've said, you can wear hats. You can also use hair products with UV protection, or things like maybe coconut oil or shea butter when you're going out to the sun, so that you can have the extra barrier from the UV rays directly to your strands, and this will actually help improve outcomes. I have talked a lot on strand damage, so let's talk about the follicle damage that is not commonly talked about. So what is it and why does it occur? So follicle damage occurs at the root level, affecting the hair follicles, basically those tiny pockets in your scalp where your hair grows. Damaged follicles can lead to thinning, stunted growth, or permanent hair loss. So you need to be very keen with what is happening in your scalp to prevent follicle damage. And the common causes of follicle damage include hormonal imbalances, because conditions like PCOS, postpartum changes after giving birth have actually been associated with weakened follicles because of the hormonal disruptions, and this definitely causes damage. And we also have scalp conditions, things like dandruff, fungal infections. We also have the clogged follicles from product buildup. That is why I usually advocate for people not to apply things on their scalp, like things like oils or butters. They're not supposed to go to your scalp. Just apply them on your hairs, and trust me, you're going to ask me how they're going to cause hair growth if they are not actually on your scalp. You see, your follicles are those tiny pockets that actually where your hair grows. If it is blocked, that means your hair cannot grow. So avoiding product buildup will actually give some room for your follicles to sprout, the ones that might have been closed up. So they will sprout, so you'll have new follicles. Another thing, when your hair strands are actually strengthened, you're going to experience less hair loss, and you're definitely going to retain the follicles that you actually have on top of those ones that are actually sprouting up. So you're going to have increased volume. Another thing that actually causes follicle damage is nutritional deficiencies, because if you're deficient, your hair will not grow, so they'll not be sprouting, so you'll definitely have follicle damage. And of course, we have stress and poor lifestyle choices, because this can definitely disrupt the normal hair growth cycle, hormonal imbalances that we've talked about. And of course, there's the use of harsh products, like using chemical relaxers, using shampoos, using conditioners that are filled with chemicals and things that you don't even understand, are definitely going to cause you both strand and follicle damage. You need to prevent that. So how do you prevent or reverse follicle damage? Before we can actually afford a hair transplant, because sometimes with follicle damage, a hair transplant can be necessary. So the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you are eating and nourishing your body well, so that it can give room for new follicles, for growth and such. So increasing intake of vitamins, minerals, biotin, vitamin A, C, all these anti-inflammatories that are going to support your metabolic function, your hormonal health, and actually help you reduce the hair loss due to the inflammation that is actually caused due to all these disruptions. Another thing is, of course, using gentle hair care routines and hair care products. Let your stylist know that you mean business when it comes to protecting your hair from damage and loss, because a hair transplant is not cheap. Anyway, another thing that you can do is massage with scalp friendly oils like castor oil to increase blood flow to encourage growth. So when you're washing your hair, before you wash it, you can also pre-poo with things like coconut oil, and you massage your scalp vizuri kabisa so that you can improve blood flow to actually open up and help with growth. And also, let's remember that sometimes follicle damage can be irreversible, especially if your shaft is damaged completely. There's nothing much that you can do, because at this particular point you will need a hair transplant. So you need to start planning for it. So as I've said, prevention is better. Ensure that you're eating well, ensure that you're protecting your hairs, avoid use of chemical relaxers, avoid use of harsh conditions, harsh chemicals, harsh styling, and also try as much as you can to control and manage your hormones. The good thing with things like hormonal imbalances, once you actually hack the trick of managing and controlling your hormones, your hair growth will actually resume. And things like infection, once they are gone, your hair growth will actually resume. But if it's damaged, like you've damaged your shaft, your follicles, you might not have the luxury. So this was the end product. My baby girl looked very, very beautiful. She rocked this hairstyle for like a month, as I told you, and I tried as much as I can to extend it without making it too long, because I wanted her to enjoy the holidays and at the same time still maintain the fact that she's a baby and she doesn't need like extra long braids. But yeah, because her friends have long braids, we had to do some kidogo extensions here and there. We're going to do some beads and then I'll show you the end product. As you can see, it looks very, very neat, and I'm sure you have watched her facial expressions. If you have not, please go back and watch the videos. If it was painful, she would have shown in her face. I don't do painful hairs, I do neat, clean, and very protective. I also try as much as I can to avoid extensions, but with the holidays it has been impossible, because every one of her friends has extension like all the time. So anytime I make her without, she's complaining. But anyway, we are thanking God because schools are resuming soon and we'll be able to go back to full-time protective. We continue with retaining length and volume. As you can see, the Chebe butter is there. I apply her and we do all those things that I have talked about to you. And she has very fine hair. Like, her hair is the thin type. It's not like the coarse one, the African one. Take a picture.